I don't know if you'd be interested. We do a segment called Unpopular Opinions. I forgot to tell you about that ahead of time, where we just go around and we just
oh no,
each say something. We try and keep it pretty well. We try and keep it pretty non-controversial. It can be music related.
That's good.
It can be whatever. It doesn't have to be music related. It can be about whatever
like
you
a
want.
pineapple on pizza, yes or no kind of thing.
Dude,
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
People have said that before, yeah. And I'm vehemently against pineapple on pizza, but you know.
You know what I'm vehemently against?
What's that?
Well, I'll let you ask first, but go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say ranch on hot wings.
You hate.
Get out of here.
You don't like that?
We're not friends. If you put the ranch, no.
You're a
blue cheese
guy.
or die.
Yeah, of
Get
course.
out.
He's a blue cheese guy.
Ranch.
Oh my god!
You
dude.
probably put ranch on your. Yes. Those people put ranch on pizza too.
I love ranch on
Can't
pizza.
do it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, good thing we're 2,000 miles away from each other.
I guess we'll never get to play together.
All right.
now.
What is the actual thing you wanted to ask me about? Yeah, right. Just different sides of the bar.
Yeah. All right. So basically, what we're gonna do is we each go around and we just state an unpopular opinion and we discuss it for a minute. You know. So we'll let Chris go first. Typically, how we started off.
Cool. All right. I've been having this argument with guys recently. At a certain level, your musical heroes are your peers. I've had so many conversations with guys, and they're just like so intimidated, or like if they're like, oh, if I ever got to play with him, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do this, and I'm like, dude, we're doing the same thing. He just sold a couple extra records. Like, go talk to the guy at least. You know what I mean? Like, calm down. It's not as big a deal as you make it. And I feel like I'm in the minority in this. I might not be. Like, most people might have a sensible head on their shoulders, but like, I was talking to a buddy about Derek Trucks. I was like, yeah, dude, I would love to jam on this and that. And he goes, oh, no shot. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I'd freeze. I'm like, that's lame. I don't know. That's my take.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I guess it's one of those things where, and I think this is, I've actually talked about this with some students before who have very strong influences and are wondering what to do with those influences, you know. And I always ask, I said, look, okay, for Derek Trucks, for example, if Derek Trucks calls you, and I think this is the reason why your friend probably acted this way. If Derek Trucks calls you on stage to jam, can you have a musical conversation with Derek Trucks without sounding like a lesser version of Derek Trucks?
Right. Totally.
Right. And so, you know, never heard your friend, but he might be such a fan that he, you know, if he goes up there and plays open E slide and it's kind of like Derek, but not, but not as cool.
Yeah.
Which of course, who is, right? But if he's not able to have his own musical conversation, his own musical voice in open E with a slide, whatever, I could see that as being pretty daunting. And I've had to tell myself that too. It's like, you know, because I have very strong influences with certain players, and you don't want to get into a situation where they're just like, hey man, why are you do your thing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, I totally agree,
know.
and to both of your points, because I think that there's something to both what you guys are saying. Mark, I totally think like can you have your own conversation for sure, or can you have like your own perspective in the conversation, certainly, and also just like thinking.
Right.
Like, can you even like step into the arena with this guy? Do you think that what you have to say could even has a seat at the table? That's the insecurity that I could see myself having in that situation. But then also to your point, Chris, I think it is important to make to not make such a big distinction between what you're doing versus what your idols are doing. It is important to look at them as peers, only because I believe that if you're going to get to that level, you have to actually see yourself in that level. You can't say, well, this person exists up here, so I'm never going to get there, right? So if you want to actually succeed, you have to kind of it's that dress for the job you want, not the job you have kind of mentality, right?
There you go.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
the qualifier
I would
there,
go ahead and do it. Plug me in, man. Let's go.
Yeah, it's like I don't have to sound the greatest I've ever sounded, and maybe the qualifier is like I said at a certain point. So like maybe if you've like found your voice on the instrument or something, that's your at that point you're a peer because you're obviously listening to someone who's found their voice. So like to your point, if you're just talking, then like what are you scared of the conversation for?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just an insecurity some people have, I think, but I think that it's also like, I think that people that have achieved a certain level of success, whatever that looks like for people, I think it's also worthy to acknowledge that you haven't done that yet either, you know, because like that's a workload. That's an entire experience that they've been able to achieve that you haven't achieved yet. So I think it's important to kind of acknowledge that too,
Totally.
Yeah.
Right on.
Mark, you got any unpopular opinions?
Oh gosh, no.
No. Okay.
All of my opinions are very popular.
Yeah. Here's this is a PR Mark coming out.
Yep, there it is.
All right. I'll do one. Let's see. Okay. So at the level that I still exist in the music world is that I still both of us here still have to play bar gigs to survive and make a living. So one of my biggest pet peeves, I don't even know if it's an unpopular opinion, I think most musicians probably share this, but if you have a sound system at your venue, please have someone who's able to run the system working there. Yeah. Right? Like
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. That's a fact.
I mean, the venues are the ones that need to hear this more than anyone, right?
Yeah.
Because we all agree, but like they think it's commonplace.
That's the whole thing where it's like you spent, however many thousands of dollars, you have nice speakers, you have like, the preamps and like the mixer. It's like it's all looks beautiful, and like I tell, and it's enough time has passed now. The venue won't even know that this is who I'm talking about. But like I was on a gig and I asked the guy who I'm pretty sure was just like a manager at the venue. I was like, hey man, we're getting a sub frequency up here. We need to take that frequency out. And he puts his iPad, which has the mixer on it, he puts it down and starts to just kind of scope the speaker out. And I'm like, nah, dude, you have to do that from you have a mixer in your hand. That's how you take the frequency out. And I see him like just kind of sitting there like not knowing what to do with himself. And I was like, you know what? Don't worry, man. We'll deal with it. This is a very low stakes gig. We're not worried about it.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Have you ever had that
I thought
happen?
of one.
Yes, let's hear it.
I thought of an unpopular opinion, and I might get a knock on wood because this might be my famous last words. Gate checking your guitar is not that bad.
Okay,
it's not that bad.
All right,
I've done it a million times, and I've done it a million times, and to this day, nothing bad has ever happened.
Knock on
one
wood.
time,
Knock on
one
wood.
time out of the dozens and dozens of times I've done it, they forgot to put it on the plane, so they put it on the next flight. But I still made the gig. Everything was cool.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to gate check your guitar, and I'll tell you why. It actually shows a little bit of grace. Because what they don't want is a musician with a hothead coming on there demanding space and your underpants are not as important as this thing that I spent they don't care.
Right.
If you go and you say, hi, I understand I have a guitar. I would like to gate check this, please. By doing that, they might even be like, don't worry about it. We'll make space for you. Right. Or they'll be like, okay, this guy's not going to fight me about it. We'll be nice to his stuff. So sometimes you got to play the game. I know I probably just lost 70,000 Instagram followers by saying this or whatever. I don't care. They're all bots anyway. Probably. I think at this point, I don't even know. Not really. Maybe they're real. Who knows? If you're real, let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not that bad. I've learned to kind of accept it,
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
What cases do you use?
I use two different cases. I use a Reunion Blues double bag and a mono double bag.
Okay, so the same.
The mono double bag will take a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
monos are
reunion
good.
one's not that bad either. I've gate checked in both of them.
See, that makes me feel pretty
I've not
good.
had anything. I've not had anything happen
Yeah, I
because
just
what they do, and really what they do, is they put it in with the strollers. They're not throwing bags on top of it.
right.
I mean, they might put a stroller on top, but it's a guitar.
Yeah,
You know.
and the cases do a pretty
Maybe
good
don't
job.
tour with your 1904 Les Paul.
Yeah, 1904 less.
You know, you get these guys that are like, "Oh, United smashed my guitar." It's like, well, you brought a pre-war D28 in like a cardboard case, dude. You need an ATA bulletproof Humvee of a case for that if you're gonna fly with, or do the Bonamassa thing and buy a seat.
Right.
Yeah.
But
right.
like, so many of these guitar destruction things, it's kind of, I hate to say it, but a lot of times it's like, dude, that's the wrong case.
yeah, no, that's true.
You know, I don't know, whatever.
That's
Knocking on my desk isn't even real wood. It's fiberboard shit.
Knock on linoleum.
yeah,
I don't know. I'll knock on one of these guitars.
yeah. There you go. Yeah, I when I checked, I have a mono case. I also traveled with a Reunion Blues recently, and it worked fine. I was very nervous about it because I've only traveled with a guitar a handful of times. I luckily never had anything get lost, but it is a bit nerve wracking when you give them
Well, that's the
your
thing.
stuff.
And I'll say that checking it is different than gate checking.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask. You're making a distinction here,
Okay.
right?
Gate checking is where you take your guitar in your hopefully padded gig bag through security.
Yeah.
Or they might open it up, whatever. And you go to the gate where you hand them your boarding pass, and then they give you a little tag, and you leave it at the jet bridge. The baggage handler takes it downstairs and puts it in a compartment with the strollers.
Right.
And then when you get off the plane, he brings it back to you. He or she brings it back to you. Checking it at the ticket counter is a whole other thing. And I agree with everyone who hates that, because I hate that too.
Yeah.
But gate checking is not as bad. Everyone's afraid to gate check, and they get on the plane. They're like, "Oh, there's room in the overhead." It's like, bro, it's not your plane. It's not. If it was your plane, you'd be on the Iron Maiden plane,
Yeah,
where they have their
exactly.
own plane. It's not your plane. You're one out of 9,000 people that need to get where they're going. Don't
Totally.
be that guy.
Totally.
Just be cool, and they'll be cool to you most of the time. 90% of the time.
yeah. I like that.
So
I
unpopular opinion, I know.
No, I think that's a good one. I wasn't able to even get to the gate with my plane last time. I was flying out of LAX, and she was like, you can't get past security with that. And I was like, are you sure? She was like, yeah, you gotta go check it now. So then ever since then, I've just been like, I just check but I have to try and next time I'll just try and get through security with it. And just see
I was
if I
gonna
can do
say,
it that
you
way.
just taking her word
What
at
kind
it.
of guitar do you have?
I was traveling with my Strat.
Oh, dude, you can run over a Strat with a truck.
Yeah.
And it'll play it. You can gate check that all day long.
Yeah, and I've got my mono case with it too, so I'm not super worried
You're
about it.
fine.
I just don't want them to lose it. That's more what I'm concerned about.
But that like I said, that's happened. That was the one time when it just got put on the next flight, and that was out of dozens and dozens of gate checks.
yeah, it's a rare occasion. Yeah.
So and they were just like, what? Like they couldn't believe it. They were like, how the hell did we screw that up?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's certainly comforting to know that
anyway.
it doesn't happen that
Yeah.
often.
Checking it at the ticket counter is a whole other thing. If you're gonna do that, you better have, the defense contractor Blackwater case.
Yeah.
Otherwise, good luck.
Yeah.